It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 24th of January, 2020. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to the English edition of Ora News. My name is Christopher, bringing you the only update of the local Albanian news, translated into English. A week after the Enlargement Commissioner came to the country, President of the European Union Council, Charles Michel, visited Albania today. He was hosted by Prime Minister Edi Rama at an official reception at the Palace of Brigades. Both officials afterwards will hold a press conference. This visit by the head of the council comes a week after the arrival of Enlargement Commissioner Oliver Varhelyi. January and February are important months for the EU institutions and candidate countries. A new enlargement methodology is being prepared in Brussels, set by France to approve the start of the accession talks with Albania and Northern Macedonia. This visit also comes in the wake of the Donors Conference for Albania to be held in Brussels on February 17th. Upon finishing the conference, he will then travel to Northern Macedonia. He is expected to raise funds for the reconstruction of areas affected by the November 26th earthquake. During his visit to Tirana, Enlargement Commissioner Oliver Varhelyi reiterated the Commission's positive attitude to the opening of negotiations for Albania. This position was also supported by Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, the Croatian presidency of the Council of the European Parliament. The next meeting of the European Council, which is also expected to take a decision on the negotiations, takes place on the 26th and 27th of March. The upcoming EU Western Balkan Summit will be held in Zagreb, Croatia in May. Socialists are distancing themselves from Bulqiza's mayor Lefter Allah after a video was posted in the media where, according to journalist Artan Hoxha, he appears to be snorting cocaine. In a statement to the media, MP Ermalan Felaj, to the head of the Security Commission, said such behaviors are unacceptable. I am glad that there is a social reaction. I was convinced that there is a reaction. Such behaviors are unacceptable to any society. If one breaks the rules and disrespects their work ethic, they do not deserve to practice as a public official. The concrete case is being investigated by SPAC, but I am convinced that I would give the same opinion if it were for someone else. For more than an hour, the mayor of Bulqiza, Lefter Allah, was questioned by SPAC yesterday over a video released the day before on television screens alleging he was consuming illegal substances. After leaving SPAC, Allah refused to give explanations to reporters, briefly saying, "We will have time to talk again. I have no comment today. I have comments only for the prosecution." The Socialist Party will wait for the SPAC investigation to decide whether to dismiss Bulqiza's mayor Lefter Allah. In a statement to the media, Parliamentary Group Chairman Talan Bala hailed SPAC for launching the investigation and underlined that once SPAC has pressed charges, the reaction will be fierce. Talan Bala says, "I would like to salute SPAC for starting a thorough investigation to clarify any doubts. In no case has the SP taken and will not receive anyone in defense. I do not know the runways, but I want to support it. We can hardly wait for the prosecution to make certain allegations that our response will no doubt be severe. Like any citizen of Bulqiza or all of Albania, for such a case we feel disgusted, if proven, but disgusted when certain political parties use video montages to tarnish the image of the other wing of politics. But let's leave it to the prosecution. If the prosecution provides any kind of conviction, it will be the maximum for anyone. As soon as the prosecution issues an accusation, our attitude will be harsh, but the punishment should be just as harsh," Talan Bala says. Turkish national Selami Şimşek, arrested the same day as a Turkish teacher already extradited to his native country, is seeking political asylum from prison. The application, which is handwritten and holds a signature of the Turkish citizen, translator, and lawyer, is dated January 8th and is addressed to the Migration Office. He is required to start asylum procedures as soon as possible. "I start this position because, in Turkey, the state thinks I am a member of the Gülen movement, and I think I can be subjected to mistreatment there." According to the story of the investigative group, Selami Şimşek also has shown his escape through Albania for the destination of Toronto, which he paid €5,000 for the route. Harun Selik, meanwhile, broke into Turkey on the evening of January 1st. He was apprehended and sentenced to 5 months ago after he entered Rinas on a false Canadian visa. After serving a sentence for document forgery, he infiltrated into Turkey, but he is expected of being part of Fethullah Gülen's movement, which is considered a terrorist organization by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. About €1 billion is estimated to be the damage caused by the earthquake in Albania on November 26th. The figure was revealed by Prime Minister Edi Rama during his visit to Rome, where he met with his counterpart Giuseppe Conte and Italian Foreign Minister Luigi Di Maio. I informed them about the reconstruction work and plans, as well as the damage report, which is expected to be completed in the coming years in cooperation with the European Union and the United Nations. The figure has not yet come out, but the figures give us an amount that will teeter around 1 billion euros, Prime Minister Edi Rama says. The Premier announced that the proper preparations are being made for the donors' conference in Brussels next month, and stressed that after visiting Rome, he will also visit Berlin to meet with Chancellor Merkel. Edi Rama says, "We will meet with Chancellor Merkel early next week, and with some high-level members, plans for rebuilding are moving quickly within the projected calendar." Rama's visit to Rome comes after that in Ukraine, where the OSCE, led by Prime Minister Edi Rama, called for resolving the crisis in Ukraine and establishing a ceasefire through dialogue. Our World in Date ranks Albania in the top 5 countries where drugs are consumed the most. Mortality due to narcotics is higher for ages 15 to 49 than for tobacco use over 70 years of age. Albania ranks first in the world for cocaine use, according to a report by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The United States tops the list with 2.7% of the population counted as users, followed by the United Kingdom with 2.6% and Albania with 2.5%. According to Our World in Data, drug use is indirectly responsible for the deaths of 11.8 million people worldwide each year. The highest deaths in 2017 have come from the use of a drug class called opioids, which also includes heroin. The death rate from overdose of alcohol or other drugs in Albania in 2017 is 1.2 per 100,000 people, up from 0.4% for 100,000 people in 1990. The highest dependence on alcohol and other drugs is between the ages of 15 and 49 years old. Meanwhile, tobacco deaths in Albania in 2017 are found to be higher at 70 years of age. Anxiety is the most prevalent mental illness in our country for 2017, with 3.39% of the population affected. And finally, the level of pollution has caused numerous problems to the health of Tirana residents, thus increasing the number of those seeking medical help. According to doctors, not only the elderly, but also the youth are presenting problems that come from high levels of pollution. Meanwhile, the index of pollution ranks Tirana among the 3 most populated cities in Europe. In recent years, the number of people whose health has deteriorated due to air pollution in Tirana has increased significantly. The doctors say those most at risk are over 30 years of age, but most are young people affected as well. Environmental pollution in patients who may be allergic without any current pathology to these favors the onsets of symptoms in a chronic illness. In recent years, we have seen an increase in the incidence of patients with chronic pulmonary disease, mainly over 60 years of age. However, we also see this as a trend at a young age. Meanwhile, according to the pollution index published by Numeo.com, Albania in 2020 is one of the highest polluting countries in Europe, scoring 77.77 points. Referring to this index in 2020, Tirana, compared to the territory of all Albania, reaches the highest points of air pollution, reaching 85.63 points from 82.8 calculated at the beginning of 2019. Not only that, but according to this report, Tirana ranks one of 3 most polluted cities in all of Europe, leaving only Tetovo and Chelyabinsk in Russia. Residents of the capital are complaining about the high level of pollution in every city, and adding to the pollution that is most felt during the afternoon. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.